We're live with another episode of BS Busters. I'm joined by Kenoshi. Kenoshi, introduce yourself.
Yeah. Hey, how's it going out there, YouTube?
All right. What you been playing?
I've been playing Street Fighter 6 mainly.
Hmm.
Yeah. Um. Yeah, that's pretty much about it.
All right. I have not been playing a damn thing. Well, that's not true. I've been playing a lot of phone games. So I guess that
Mm.
makes me a semi-hardcore phone gamer.
Yeah. Sometimes that's all you can do if you just you don't have time to sit down and play you know real games. I guess.
I mean, I can't be playing video games when I'm at work.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's just can't do that shit. So I don't.
Yeah.
On the other hand, though, that's about it. Uh, so, with that being said,
Get
let's
into the
see.
topics.
Uh, yeah, I think we should. So, the first topic is going to be Amazon is trying to repeat. So, to say that their live action adaptation of the Fallout IP to like a TV show format, a series format with 8 episodes was successful is an understatement. It's like one of the most watched things that Amazon has had for a while. So clearly they want a repeat of that success. So they're doing the same thing with Yakuza or the Like a Dragon series. So with that being said, if you're into Yakuza, this is a good thing. If you're not in the Yakuza, maybe it's not a good thing. I don't know. But I think it's cool. What are your
Yeah,
thoughts
it's
on it?
cool. It's cool seeing these games get more recognition outside of gaming. These IPs getting recognition outside of their main medium.
Yeah.
That just will give it a chance to grab new audiences that really wouldn't be interested in video games, but might be interested in those stories and those worlds.
I'd be down with it. I was reading this thing on I forget where it was, but basically the guy who created Yakuza says Sega initially didn't want to even make the damn game. They were like, this game doesn't appeal
Yeah,
to women. It doesn't appeal to women. It doesn't appeal to kids. It's not one of those 4 quadrant games. So why should we put money into it and like get it made? And this guy's like, I swear, I believe in this game. It can actually work. And I mean, the guy was right.
yeah,
I
wildly
mean,
successful.
in Japan, one of the biggest demographics for Yakuza are women.
That's hilarious.
No, it makes sense. I mean, there's a lot of things people are like, oh, women wouldn't like this, blah blah blah. This appeals to more to like this demographic, and then you see who's doing it. It's like mostly, someone who
It's
you would be
hilarious
just
because no, it's funny because Sega didn't think it would appeal to women.
yeah. They're like, no, this will only appeal to. It doesn't appeal to women. It doesn't appeal to it doesn't appeal to everybody. And yet, Yakuza is a very like I like the franchise because it's very different from what we get in the West. You know,
Yeah,
the protagonists in Yakuza are very flawed. They aren't perfect, and it's not some random white guy, which I love. You know,
yeah,
I mean, it's a little bit transphobic. Like, there's a whole mini game where you're outrunning a transgender crossdresser lady who's chasing you down, and it's kind of like an object of ridicule. But aside from that, the franchise is really like um, relatively progressive about a lot of stuff, and I'm like, okay, like I fail to see how this is a how you're being all like that, but whatever, it's. But aside from that, yeah, man, the Yakuza series is amazing, and I'm glad that it's getting a chance to show itself, for other stuff. The only
Yeah.
downside I can think of, to me, and this is my own personal opinion, is they could fuck it up because it's Amazon. Although to be fair, Amazon hasn't fucked up live action adaptations like Netflix has.
Yeah.
Like that Yu Yu Hakusho adaptation was trash.
Yeah. Some of the things I've heard about them doing, it's like, why would you do that? That's really integral to the person's character. Like, why
I
are
mean,
you?
because they wanted to skip a whole bunch of steps and they didn't want to build it because Yu Yu Hakusho is like 5 seasons, like 4 or 5 seasons, and they didn't want to do that. They just wanted to rush through and like they skipped entire character arcs, and I'm like, why would you do that?
Like Yusuke, like I guess in the live action Yusuke, it's either a close fight or Yusuke somehow beats the younger Tagoro,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I'm
he
just kind of
he
like,
he
why?
beats the yeah. So you basically skip a whole
That's
bunch of steps. Yeah,
that's like integral to that character's development.
yeah,
Like,
'cause
what? Why?
yeah. Yusuke has
Why
to
would you do that? That's
like
so
every
important.
hero. It's like having doing a live action Dragon Ball where Goku where
Goku beats
Goku beats Raditz.
Yamcha.
No, he
Yeah.
beats Raditz. Like Dragon Ball Z, he beats Raditz. The first time they fight, he beats Raditz. It's like, wait a second. Like he has to die and go to the afterworld so that he can get trained by King Kai and learn the Kaioken. It's like
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
kind of missing a lot of the other points that need to go on here.
Yeah. Speaking of Dragon Ball, just a side note, I was watching it. A few friends in a Discord server, another Discord server I'm in, and um, I think Piccolo is probably one of my top favorite villains when it comes to the Dragon Ball series.
You mean
That's
Old Man Piccolo, Daimao Piccolo, and
yeah,
then Ma
yeah,
Junior.
yeah,
Like, yeah,
because
that fight was closer than that fight was real close. That was like the closest fight
he,
we've had in Dragon Ball.
he was like the. He might not have been the only villain because I haven't seen all of Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
But he was like the villain that actually was successful in getting a wish from the dragon.
Oh yeah, and then he killed the dragon. He's like,
He
yeah, I
killed
want
the
to
dragon.
get,
It's like,
I want to get my youth back so I can be younger and more powerful. And the
Yeah.
hilarious thing is that he did that, killed the dragon, and then Goku shows up with, I'm shonen protagonist, I'm gonna kick your ass. And this is the first time, the first fight between Daimao Piccolo and Goku is the first time you see Dragon Ball Z level fighting in that series at
Yeah.
that point. Like, it's the first time you see someone hit a dude and then move so quickly they go behind him, kick his ass over there, combo his ass up there. Like, it's like the first time you see, like, you are completely outclassed. This,
Yeah.
you need to go back to drawing board, and he did.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, it was
He,
good, man. I loved it.
and he before Goku showed up, he just wiped everybody out. It's like,
Yeah,
God dang.
he kicked Roshi's ass. He kicked a lot of people's asses, as he should have. He is the polar opposite of
Kami.
of Kami. If Kami is the good god guardian of Earth, then you need someone who is the polar opposite of that, and that is Piccolo.
Yeah. Yeah.
Made sense, The only people who didn't like that, were people who just like bitching and complaining about shit.
But that's just a side tangent.
No, I agree with you. That's why I tell people, if you're gonna watch, like, I would say if you really want to get into Dragon Ball, start watching Dragon Ball, then like if you want to do it right, watch Dragon Ball, then watch Dragon Ball Z, then go back and watch Dragon Ball. And you'll appreciate Dragon Ball more after you watch Dragon Ball Z and realize, "Oh man, this is much better cuz Dragon Ball does something that you don't get from
Z. Yeah.
from Z, which is Dragon Ball actually has Goku lose. He loses a lot.
Yeah.
Like he's not like I'm all powerful and I can defeat everybody. In Dragon Ball, there's times where he gets his ass kicked,
Yeah.
and it fits. You know, like people forget Goku fought in the Budokai tournament 3 times. He lost the first 2 times. The first time he lost to Roshi. The second time he lost to Tien Shinhan, and the third time he beat Junior, aka Piccolo Junior. But that was like it could have gone either way.
Yeah.
Like it was like okay, like these are the 2 strongest people on Earth.
Yeah.
And then they fucking added Saiyans and everything just fell apart because Saiyans are all powerful and unstoppable, and it broke the franchise. Like Dragon Ball has never been as good as it could have been because everything became about Saiyans.
And Saiyans and the transformations.
Well, I mean, but that's part of Saiyans. It's like just Saiyans are better than everything. Saiyans are the best. And it's like I get that you like Saiyans. I understand. I totally understand it. But like I get that you like Saiyans, but you didn't have to.
Yeah.
Like, I get it. You like Saiyans. I like Saiyans too, but there's other cool characters in this franchise. You know? And occasionally they'll have like a throwback for the other characters. Like, oh, well, you know, yes. Hey, remember Piccolo? Remember Tien? Yeah. Remember Yamcha? Yeah. You remember Yajirobe? Like, in Dragon Ball, there was a point where Yajirobe was stronger than Goku. He kicked Goku's ass because Goku tried to steal his food. And he beat the shit out of him. Like, just casually kicked his ass. Shortly after he lost to, after he got his ass kicked by, what's his name? Daimao Piccolo.
Yeah.
But people don't like to talk about that. It's all about that. It's all about that Goku and his amazing ability to just plot armor his way into beating everybody by some new ability that he gets from somebody else.
Yeah.
Like, I read this thing. You realize that Goku has no original special abilities? Like, every special ability he has, he learned from somebody else?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good thing. That's a good point.
Like, even Gohan has his own original abilities. Or at least his own variation on original abilities. I'm not going to get started. I'm not going to get started talking about Dragon Ball Z. I could, but I won't.
Yeah, and after watching Dragon Ball, I kind of appreciate the relationship between Gohan and Piccolo even more.
Yeah.
After. And I really wish they would have. I really wish that would have been a bigger focus. But, you know, it's the Goku show.
It's the Goku and Vegeta. It's the Saiyan show, really. It's the Saiyan show. Like Vegeta has a redemptive character arc, and I'm like, this fucker didn't deserve a redemptive character arc. Piccolo earned his redemptive character arc because he's like, shit. He accomplished his goal. His life goal was to kill Goku, and he did. He's like, what do I do now? I've killed the guy who killed my father. Where do I go from here? He's like, what do I do now? He's like, well, shit. His punk ass son's here. His son's pretty powerful. I guess I can train his son. And Piccolo winds up being a better father to Gohan than Goku was because Piccolo teaches him to toughen up and act like a goddamn man.
Yeah.
Whereas,
Yeah.
Goku's like, oh, that's, yeah, so, yeah, kid, yeah, whatever. Like, Piccolo's like, he's like, he's like, yeah. It's like, what if I'm scared? Yeah, life is tough, kid. Get the fuck, here's a sword, here's some new outfit, and you better learn to fight. You better do something, shit. You better survive. I remember Dragon Ball
Yeah.
Z. There's this point where he's like, he winds up falling asleep next to this dinosaur. The dinosaur gets eaten in the night, and he wakes up. He's like, "Oh shit!" It's like, my friend's dead. I'm like, yeah, life is tough, and that's why
Yeah.
Gohan has better character development than his father. Piccolo has better character development for a villain turned hero. Piccolo has a character arc. Vegeta has no character arc. He literally comes to
Yeah.
Earth. They put him on the ship when they leave planet Namek at the end of the at the Frieza saga and take him to Earth, and he becomes. I'm like, fuck this guy. This guy has spent most of his adult life destroying entire civilizations for Frieza, killing millions of innocent people. Fuck Vegeta. Fuck him.
Yeah.
Oh, I love Vegeta. Fuck that guy. Okay. But yeah, I'm sorry. I know some people are gonna get mad. They're gonna be like, no, but no, Vegeta's amazing. Yeah, whatever. Fuck that guy. Fuck him. Fuck Vegeta. He's a shit character. I said it. I don't care if you don't like it. It's true. You know it to be true. You know Vegeta is trash. Okay?
Yeah.
He's a murderous piece of shit. And fuck him. Fuck that guy.
But what are we talking about? Yakuza?
Yeah, Yakuza. Yeah. I hope it's good. I want it to be good. Will it be good? I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, like, here's the thing: the odds are in their favor because Fallout was good. Fallout was good in spite of everything. Like, because Fallout on paper, that show should have been trash. You know, like Walton Goggins, like, I've never even played Fallout. It's like, oh shit, and then and then the people are like, yeah, this show isn't for fans. I'm like, what? This show, a Fallout show isn't for fans of Fallout? I mean, what the fuck is this shit? But in spite of all of that, it turned out to be.
Yeah.
So, who knew? I mean, I thought it was going to be hot buttered trash, but it wasn't. So, who knew?
Yeah.
I wasn't anticipating it, but it was. Surprise, surprise. The Fallout show was good. I'm going to go watch it again, as a matter of fact, some point. I'll binge it again. Because it was much better than it had any business being. It's like, this should be, on paper, this should have been terrible. And yet it turned out to be good.
Yeah.
It's like, so I'm always surprised when something is better than it has any business being. When something's better than it has any business being, I'm like, oh shit, I'm surprised. It's like when you watch a movie and you're like, this movie's going to be terrible. Then you watch it, it's like, oh, this is actually good. I'm surprised. Because this was supposed to be some hot buttered trash.
Yeah, is there a movie trailer that you can recall in recent memory where you saw the trailer and it's like, man,
You're
this shit
surprised.
looks like hot garbage.
And then you watch
And
it
then
like,
you go
oh, I'm
watch the movie.
surprised. Yeah.
Oh, man, this is better than I thought it was gonna be.
Yeah, there is a movie that was like that, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, with Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt. Like, I thought, I saw that, I'm like, this is gonna be some, because I watch old movies, so I know that Mr. and Mrs. Smith was a movie, like, from back in the day. Like, and this was something completely different. I did not know that this shit was going to be what it was, and it actually turned out to be pretty good. Like, better than it had any business being. I'm like, oh shit, this is actually legit. Like, you know, one of those rare times where a movie is better than it had any business being. I'm like, this should be terrible. On paper, this should be trash, but it's actually a good movie. Like, it's legit good. Like, I can go back and watch that movie and I enjoy it. Like, I enjoy watching Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
Yeah.
The Amazon remake, reboot, whatever the fuck it's called, was kind of weird, though. I wasn't really feeling that, but the original is pretty good. The original Mr. and Mrs. Smith. It's astonishingly
Yeah.
good. Or at least the remake with this that shares the same name. But
What's our other topic?
yeah, so our next
Yeah.
topic is Square Enix has a plan. So Square Enix, as we all know, recently was like, oh shit, Final Fantasy, whatever it's called, didn't make a lot of money, so we need to get our shit together. And how they decide to get their shit together is by essentially doing something that we've all said they should have been doing a long time ago, which is stop.
Well,
No, go ahead, sir.
they put a megatons amount of money into it, and they had obscenely, obscenely fanciful, optimistic goals about the success of the Final Fantasy games, and they're surprised that they didn't do it. Okay.
Well, funny thing about that, I read an article from a former Square Enix executive from their Western part of the company, and apparently their extravagant estimations weren't that extravagant. It's just their games were really expensive. Because basically, if a game has to be made, and the game is, let's say, um, it has a budget of like 150 million, and then you factor in another 100 million to 150 for advertisement. Okay, and then the game is delayed, so that's another 100 million. Then you have to get an extra studio to help make it, so let's say another 50 million. So basically, by that point, the game has to sell hyper numbers in order to break even, and even higher numbers to be profitable. So really, it's just a case of really bad management, and that's why the CEO was fired.
Yeah.
They were like, "Yeah, you have to fall on your sword, sir," and he did. You know, I mean, I'm never happy to see people get fired, but at least they just, they shuttered a whole bunch of studios and sold some of those IPs back to the original people, and it wasn't just some bullshit, which it could have gone that way. So, lucky us, I guess. It could have been a lot worse, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But yeah, yeah. I mean, I normally, had I not read that article, I would agree with you and say, oh man, these are unrealistic. But I mean, if your budget is that blown out, then you have no choice. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, like if as a business owner, I'm like, okay, I put something on the menu that costs me like $30 to make that dish, then I am going to have to sell that dish for like $60 in order to break even. Because I have to I have to be able to pay for those ingredients for the next person who orders that dish too. And it's like it's unsustainable. Basically, the way Square Enix does their game development is unsustainable, and it's been that way for a long time. But they have refused to really deal with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like they, for the longest time, they would do these exclusivity deals, and the exclusivity deal would help cover some of those development costs. So that's why you're seeing games. Oh, this is only on PlayStation, because PlayStation was the one who would pay them an extravagant amount of money to keep that game, funded.
Yeah.
So bad business decisions can bad business decisions can bring you down faster than almost anything else in this industry apparently.
What's their plan? What's their grandmaster plan?
So their grandmaster plan is something that they should have been doing a long time ago. Their grandmaster plan is to do something that we've said, "Hey, why don't you do this instead of all these exclusivity deals?" Um, like for example, uh, wouldn't uh, Final Fantasy 15 or 16 been more profitable if instead of just putting it on the PlayStation, which that audience has migrated, like they've lost a lot of the JRPG audience because Sony doesn't support those IPs anymore, that genre anymore on their systems. If that game had come out
Yeah,
on PC, PlayStation, Xbox, maybe a cloud version on the Switch, like multiple platforms, they probably would have made their money back, or at least not been as
yeah,
far in the hole. But they didn't want to do that. No, what they wanted to do was have this exclusivity deal, and it failed because this isn't like back in the day where Final Fantasy could be on a Nintendo platform and it was good.
yeah.
It's not like that anymore. And Square Enix, they're playing it like it's like that with Sony, but it's not like that. Well, their plan is to do what we've been saying they should have been doing a long time ago, which is putting things in multiple platforms and not putting everything on one console and and multi-plats. So starting with Final Fantasy, sorry, Dragon Quest 3, the HD 2D remake of Dragon Quest 3. That game is going to be on everything. It's coming to everything,
Mm.
which is what they should have done years ago.
Yep.
This is what they should have done years ago.
Unless unless you've had a franchise that you have fostered for probably the past couple of decades on a particular platform, like Nintendo,
Yeah.
uh, you really can't get away with exclusive deals anymore.
No, not as expensive as things are today. You can't. You just can't do it.
Yeah, yeah,
It's untenable. It's
yeah,
an untenable position. And they don't seem to understand that. They're like, "Oh no." You know. And I know I've said this myself many years. I was like, "Look, this is why are they just putting that on one platform?
yeah,
That makes no sense."
yeah. The only game I probably would consider a system seller, or that will be a system seller, because it's just such a big franchise. Um, since it's not coming to PC, apparently it's GTA 6.
Yeah, but we all know that eventually
That'll
GTA
move
6 will
consoles.
come to PC. Because I didn't buy GTA 5 on console. I waited till it came on PC. I'm like, that's cool.
Yeah,
I'll wait till it comes to PC.
there will be
Because,
there will be a segment of people that will wait for it to come on PC, and then there will be people that will double dip because they want to play the game now,
yeah, they want to
and
play it with
and
their
then they want all
friends.
the benefits.
Yeah, because the
Yeah,
reason they're putting on console is so that they can sell you on that fucking membership. Um, and, have a broken ass economy that makes you know, spend real world money for fake shit that doesn't actually exist.
yeah. It's like, do you really think shark cards are going away? I mean,
Oh no,
after
they're
all the
gonna.
money
It's
they
gonna be
made,
even
like,
worse. If you thought shark cards and all that shit was bad before, it is going to be so much worse under GTA 6. Like it's gonna be fucking terrible. I don't think people are aware of just how bad shark cards are gonna become in the future of
yeah,
GTA. And if you don't think it's gonna be that bad, I don't know what to tell you. Uh, you know, you're either being naive or willfully ignorant. You know,
yeah,
could be a combination of both because people, I mean, these are the same people who were like, yeah, well, Nintendo, they're, I'm going to buy their online. I'm like, if you pay for this subpar online, it's just going to get worse. They're never going to get better. And people are like, no, you don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, okay. And I'll be damned. They did.
Yeah.
you know, I don't know everything about business, but I can tell when shit is fucked up. But, who am I? I'm just some guy. What the hell do I know? Anyway. So, um, yeah, so Square Enix has basically decided to put more things on multiple platforms instead of these exclusivity deals, which is what they should have been doing, as I said, years ago. you know? Like, imagine
Yeah.
how well imagine how well Kingdom Hearts 3 would have sold if instead of it being on the Epic Game Store, they had put that shit on Steam. By the way, it's finally
Yeah.
coming to Steam, and
Exactly.
people are like, oh yeah, I can get this now. They were like, but it was on Epic. Yeah, but no one really wants Epic Game Store.
Yeah.
The only reason I have Epic Game Store is because they give me a free game every Thursday. Which
Well,
they've
the only
started to
reason I bought
repeat that shit.
the reason I bought those games is because they were on sale on the Epic Game Store.
Man, I
I
don't even
wouldn't
get
have
the
bought it
sales.
on.
I get it free. The only time I get a game on the
Yeah.
Epic Game Store and I buy it, like I legit, the only time I legit buy an Epic Game Store game, okay, is if the game is like an indie game that is Epic Store exclusive. Like I know the indies are going to get paid for it, and otherwise they're getting money for it.
Yeah.
If that's not the case, I don't give them shit. I'm like, well, fuck you. I don't. You don't need anything. You're good. But that's just me. To each his own. But what are your thoughts on this?
I think it's about time. Obviously, there are people that like a lot of their games, and putting it on more platforms will just, because people don't spend money like that anymore on consoles. Where they'll buy a console for one game, like the system seller.
I mean, they'll
Maybe
do it for
Nintendo
Nintendo.
consoles,
Yeah,
but
Nintendo gamers will, because they know that shit's not coming to anything else. Like, if you want to play Smash
yeah,
Brothers, you can only play a Smash Brothers game on a Nintendo console. It's never going to
yeah,
come to whatever fucking third party shit you have, unless you're playing a mod. Unless you're like playing a hacked version of that shit.
yeah. Like if you're emulating it or
Yeah.
whatever. But other than that, yeah, it's not coming legitimately to you know PS5 or Xbox or PC.
No, and to be honest with you, Xbox tried to create a Smash clone, and it was shit. Remember PlayStation All
Yeah.
Stars?
Oh yeah, PlayStation. Oh yeah, that was.
It was shit.
And people. Yeah.
People were like I was one of them. I was like, you know what? It would be better if y'all just copied Smash Brothers like wholesale.
The balancing was terrible in that game.
Yeah, yeah. If you were Kratos, Kratos could take anybody, and everybody else was kind of like
Yeah.
just every other character. Like the brilliance of Smash Brothers is that if you're skilled enough, even shit characters can be good. Like Jigglypuff is
Yeah.
a shit character, but if you're really skilled with
Well,
Jigglypuff, you can kick someone's ass with Jigglypuff in Smash Brothers.
I've seen people cook people up with Jigglypuff, like the professional Smash
Oh
players.
yeah, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I've seen them. I've
Yeah.
seen them. Now, not me. I'm not professional level, but I'm good enough that generally speaking, like I follow the weight. I follow the weight triangle. Okay, heavyweights beat medium weights, which beat lightweights. Okay,
Yeah.
so if I'm playing as Donkey Kong and you have Jigglypuff, I'm gonna fuck you up. You're done.
Yeah.
You're fucking done. Get out of my face. You're done. But to each his own. Not everyone can play the game like I do because I've been playing Smash Brothers a long ass time, many
Yeah.
years. Okay, many years have I played Smash Brothers, and all those years, the one thing that I've figured out is, uh, the one thing I've figured out is, ultimately, every time they come out with a new version of Smash Brothers, they're going to change some characters around to make whatever character you used to use less viable.
Yeah.
You know, and or to make a character you used to hate into being more viable.
Yeah.
Case in point, I used to fucking hate. I used to, I used to hate. The only character that I've consistently hated in that series since the start was Pikachu. I hate Pikachu so
Yeah.
much. I hate that character. If I see someone playing Pikachu, I'm like, I'm gonna specifically destroy your ass because I hate that character. Yeah, I said it. I hate Pikachu.
Too cute for you, huh?
No, no, I just don't
You,
like I just don't like that character. I think they're
yeah.
better Pokemon. They're better. I think there were better Pokemon that should have been in Smash Brothers over Pikachu, even though Pikachu is very popular.
That's the only reason Pikachu's there. Because he's
Cause
super popular and he's the face of Pokemon.
like, why didn't they put a fighting type in
Yeah.
there? Like, Machamp, or sorry, Machamp, Tyrogue,
Yeah.
like Hitmonchan, Hitmonlee.
Yeah.
Hell, I mean, I'm just saying. It's like, okay, I get it, but this is
And they
not a
have that wrestler type Pokemon, but that's
yeah Blaziken.
after the fact, I guess.
Yeah, I'm just
Yeah.
like, I'm just saying. It's like there are better characters that could have been in this shit. And I know some people are gonna get mad. Oh, don't say that. I'm like, come on, man. We all know that Pikachu is not a great Pokemon. Everyone's like, oh man, I love Pikachu. Pikachu's a shit Pokemon. Okay, I said it.
Yeah.
And if you're mad about that, I don't know what to tell you. If you're mad about Pikachu, about me saying that Pikachu is a shit Pokemon, um, he is a shit Pokemon though. Like
Yeah.
Pikachu's not the fastest for an electric Pokemon. He's not the best electric Pokemon. He's not the fastest Pokemon. His special stats aren't the highest. It's like the only reason you like Pikachu is because they marketed Pikachu, not because he's competitively viable.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't let these TV shows fool you because they break a lot of the rules of the actual game. Like they make Pikachu way more powerful in the TV show than he actually is in the actual game.
Man, I remember that bullshit they did in Pokemon where they fucking They had Pikachu fucking where they had Pikachu use a Thunder Shock on a ground and Rock type Pokemon. I was like, this is some bullshit right here. That- Look, I have tried that. I tried that in Pokemon Red and Green. You can't be done.
Yeah.
You
I've
cannot.
heard Yu-Gi-Oh.
What?
I've also heard Yu-Gi-Oh has that same problem where they kind of break certain rules for plot reasons.
Yeah.
Or yeah,
I was like, I know you didn't just put this character in I'm like, I know you didn't just put this character in fucking
yeah,
I know you didn't just have this character do something that is mechanically impossible.
yeah. I mean, a lot of that stuff's great. Like TV shows are created to sell the actual product.
No, I understand it. I'm
More
just
so,
simply saying that I don't like when they do that. They like fucking change shit around. Because to me, if you have a show that's basically about like if you specifically have a show that's about a known quantity video game or whatever, then that show should like people who don't know who aren't into that game or IP should get have a general idea what's it about just by watching that show, right?
yeah,
Like I'll give you an example, okay? X-Men the animated series back in the day that I grew up with. I was too young to get X-Men comics. The TV show gave me an overall gist of the comics. Matter of fact, the TV show is so good that if you want to know the Dark Phoenix saga, a better version of the Dark Phoenix saga from the comics, watch the TV show from the 90s. It's a better version of the Dark Phoenix saga. They did it better.
yeah,
And that got me into X-Men. Like that's the whole point of having your IP cross mediums is to get people interested in the original IP. Now, I'm gonna tell you right now, if you watch the Pokemon TV show and then you take that shit to the Game Boy Color, the Game Boy, the Game Boy Color, the Game Boy Advance, like any generation of Pokemon, you will create a team that will get its ass kicked. And your Pikachu too.
yeah,
Because you're gonna be up there thinking, oh, I got a Pikachu. No one gives a shit about your fucking Pikachu. Fuck you and your Pikachu too. How you like that? And people will be right. I mean, would you be like, oh no, you shouldn't have said that? I'd be like, yeah, fuck. No one cares about your damn Pikachu.
yeah,
And I wouldn't be saying anything. I wouldn't be like, oh no, you shouldn't have said that. I'd be like, you're absolutely right. No one cares about Pikachu at all because he's trash.
yeah,
Pikachu is trash. Trash, 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 trash. And anyone who says he isn't is just not paying attention to what's going on here.
yeah,
Character is hot butter trash. People don't like that. They don't like hearing that Pikachu is trash, but he is. There's better. They're better electric Electabuzz is a better electric Pokemon. Shit, Voltorb is a better electric Pokemon. Basically, what I'm saying is you could build a better deck than any of that shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, you could build a better team.
Yeah.
Hell, I've built better teams by accident than anything that Pokemon has done. Than the TV shows. Shit.
Yeah.
Ash Ketchum, that bastard. Dude gave up a fully evolved Charizard. But he kept his shitty Pikachu.
Yeah. That is kind of funny, isn't it?
I got Pikachu. Man, fuck Pikachu. There, I said it. I
Yeah.
said it. Shit, his Flygon was a more interesting Pokemon.
Yeah.
Anyway, enough of that. So, final topic is the PC game shows this Sunday, which is pretty fucking sweet. I this is since E3 no longer exists and you know since it's no longer a thing, um, these days I've kind of just like started to do other stuff. So for me, my big thing is these days I'm kind of like in these days I'm looking forward more to uh,
The PC gaming
the
show.
PC gaming show than anything else. Besides, most of that shit's also gonna hit console too. So what's the point?
Yeah. Yeah.
Everyone's like, oh well, I can't. I'm like, come on, man. You know it's gonna hit console too.
Yeah.
And we know
Yeah.
this. We know it's gonna hit console. So if you have a console, you should watch the PC game show because you know that shit is gonna hit console too,
Yeah. Yeah.
and that makes it totally worthwhile, in my opinion.
I wonder who's sponsoring it this year. Nvidia or Intel or AMD. Usually
Probably
AMD seems to sponsor
it might be a
sponsor it.
combination of all three. Just to be honest with you,
Yeah.
like they all have. They might all have something involved with it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I could be wrong. What do I know? I'm just some guy.
Yeah. 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 I might end up checking that out. What time is that going to be?
Let me check. Let me check. PC game show. Oh, sorry. It is June 9th, and it starts at 4 p.m. Eastern Time, 9 p.m. BST. So whatever the fuck that is. British Standard Time. So So 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern, and 9 p.m. British Standard Time. And you can watch it
Hmm.
on Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, Steam, and Billy. Whatever the fuck that is. So, I can watch it, you can watch it, we can all watch it.
Yeah.
So, I don't know about you, but I'm looking forward to the shit.
Yeah.
Um, you know, the PC game show along with Devolver Digital, their thing, always is way more interesting to me than what's that piece of shit, the guy who helped get Don Matrick fired,
Oh, Summer's Game
Jeff
Fest.
Keighley.
That's just gonna be. I'm not gonna waste my time with that. I'll just see if there was any interesting announcements after it happens.
Yeah, Jeff Keighley, who I just can't stand. I really cannot stand Jeff Keighley. Um, because I think he's a little what's the word I'm looking for? I think Jeff Keighley is an opportunistic little shit, and I don't like that. Like I don't like people make who unveil themselves of other people's misfortune, which is what Jeff Keighley did with E3. You know, he's a real piece of shit in my opinion. So I don't like him that much at all, really.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, I don't like him at all. The only thing I like about Jeff Keighley is that it was funny how he basically he basically single handedly got Don Matrick fired. That was funny to me.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, it's like, so let me get this straight. It's like, let me get this straight. Yeah. Let me get this straight. Like, you should tell
Yeah.
people
I
they should
mean, he
stick with their Xboxes if they don't want to.
Xbox 360.
Their
Yeah.
Xbox 360 if they don't want to always be online. I'm like, for real?
I mean, when you're trying to sell a shit sandwich, you're gonna have to give shit answers. So
I mean, I was just like, God damn. you just gonna you just gonna fucking say that to somebody like that. I'm like, damn.
yeah.
And that's what he did. For those of you who don't know, that's what Jeff Keighley did. He basically single handedly got Don Metric fired.
Yeah.
Which seeing someone's career get destroyed in like real time is kind of funny. It shouldn't be, but it is. Like I should feel bad, but I don't because, he basically was trying to control how people play their games. And I'm not cool with people telling me how I should be playing my games.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, well, you better, like Microsoft was essentially saying, oh, I mean, and here's the thing: the shit that we didn't want has become the future. All these consoles have online DRM. Okay,
Yeah.
all of them. Like, if you don't hook up your system for a long time and you just don't hook it up to the internet, you can't play your shit. It will not
Yep.
let you play your shit. I know because I haven't turned on my Switch in like a year and a half now.
Yeah.
That's the world we live in, folks.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
But anyway, How do you feel about it? Do you care? Don't care? Don't give a shit?
No, it is what it is. It is what it is. Like, you know, um, I mean, the thing is, as long as people, I don't know. I mean, I guess the best thing to do is just create some regulatory body when it comes to this stuff, so that people don't get screwed out of the products that they purchase.
I mean, we do have a regulatory body that could be used to deal with these things, but you would have to basically write legislation in America where that
Yeah.
regulatory body could would be allowed to actually regulate that particular thing, which probably won't happen because people what gamers have been fooled into thinking that these businesses have their best interest in heart, which is not true.
Well, obviously not. Yeah.
They don't have your best interest at heart. They want to fuck you over every time, all the time. And I don't know why people don't understand that. They're like, oh no, they care about us. No, they don't. They don't give a fuck about you. Why can't you understand
Yeah.
this? But you know, that's my own personal opinion. Um. So yeah, looking forward to the PC game show. I'll probably will be listening to it when I'm on the road driving to work Sunday. Apparently, they're going to show stuff about Tactical Breach, Wizards, Demon School, Star Trucker, Unreal 2, and lots of other reveals that they have planned. So, if I can't watch it, I'll rewatch it Monday so I can watch it again. Because that's the only. I used to watch. Remember, we used to watch E3. Oh, we gotta. Now I'm like, fuck E3 and fuck Jeff Keighley's E3's replacement, which is trash.
Yeah.
So, at least in my opinion, it's trash. So yeah, man, that's what we're doing. Um, that's it. Anything else you want to talk? You want to mention before we move on to the next topic?
Well, what's the next topic?
Free topic, and then unpopular opinion.
Oh, okay. Well, my free topic is that state of play was hot buttered trash, drenched in rancid sauce, and the only highlight worth mentioning was the Astrobot platformer.
Yeah,
Other than that, yeah,
some
that was
bullshit.
not worth anybody's time. Yeah,
Some
should have been a
bullshit,
press
man.
release. Yeah, Sony doesn't have anything this year. Like they got jack and shit this year. Like,
Jack shit. Well, I mean, to be fair, Sony. I can't remember a good state of play ever.
yeah, yeah,
Since they've been having state of plays, I can't remember a single one where I was like, "This is really good."
yeah.
So when people are
And
like,
they're
"Yeah,"
just drunk off their own. They're just drunk off their own supply because it's like they're at a really comfortable second place when it comes to this whole console race.
I mean, is it a
So they don't
race?
have to
It's more
try real
like
hard.
Nintendo is just lapping everybody, and Sony's jogging, lightly jogging, and Microsoft is basically just kind of power walking behind everybody else.
Yeah.
Whereas PC owns the stadium. The stadium is being played
Yeah.
in PC because technically speaking, there's more PC gamers than anybody else.
Yeah. At this point, yeah. Yeah, it is. Sony has gotten significantly complacent these this generation.
Oh yeah,
So
because they have no competition.
yeah.
When you have no competition and no one is willing to challenge you, then you have no incentive to actually do new shit and better shit.
All their games aren't making any money, so they have to keep moving them to so they keep porting them to PC. So
Well, yeah, because, even though Sony fanboys are like, yeah, man, they make the best shit ever. I'm like, but they don't, though, because y'all don't buy the shit.
I
Like,
will never forget this.
no, go ahead. Sorry.
I will never forget this. It was like 2011, 2010, 2011. It was 2011. Um, PS3 had so many exclusives coming out that year, uh, especially compared to the competition. The only game that ever really got pushed was Uncharted 3.
Yeah.
Everything else just fell by the wayside.
Yeah, but
Like,
Sony's been that way ever since the end of the PS2 into the PS3, where the PS3 became very much a Western console. Like Sony used to be all
yeah,
about the Japanese developers, Japanese publishers. Now it's all about Western shit. Everything's very Western. Shit.
yeah.
I think even the CEO is a white guy. So it's like, what incentive do they have to actually, care about other shit these days? They don't. They have no incentive. So,
Yeah.
it's sad, but that's the world we live in, folks. I mean, and before anyone says anything, look, listen. I used to be a two console house, all right? I would always have a Nintendo system and a PlayStation system, a Sony system. That's how I rolled.
Yeah.
So believe me when I say I am not happy about what's going on with Sony these days, where they no longer even do shit like they used to. They don't.
Yeah.
We don't get cool games. Remember back in the day where you could always count on Sony to have some type of cool shit going on the console? Something.
Yeah.
Not anymore. Shit.
The PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2 days were really good.
Yeah, they were. And you could go to like an EB, a KB, you could get all these used old PlayStation games that were good. They were legit good. You're like, oh man, this shit's amazing.
Yeah.
And you didn't have to pay an arm and a leg to get the shit. It was like, oh man, this is nice. I don't have to spend a lot of money. This is great. Shit.
I remember back in the day when they're during the PS2 era where their exclusives were about $10 cheaper than the third party games.
Yeah.
When Jack 2 first came out, it was only $40 compared to everything,
Or you'd wait
50.
until there was a
But
sale and get that shit for like $20. Oh man. Can't do
yeah,
any of that shit now, man. Everything's an arm and fucking leg these days.
yeah, that's the thing about PC gaming. That's why, because you don't you're not be at the behest of Steam or Epic or whatever store. There's
Yeah,
alternatives that you can
but Steam
go
has really
to.
good sales, so I don't mind going to Steam. It's like, if I wait for a Steam sale, I can get whatever I want at a reduced price. you know? Whereas Epic, they're like, we have
Yeah,
a
Steam.
sale. I'm like, this isn't really a sale, though.
Steam did really. Steam has had pretty decent sales last. I don't know, a few times they've had sales.
Yeah, I mean, even if they don't have exactly what I want on sale, I can find something that looks interesting that I can play that's cheap. I cannot
Yeah.
say the same thing on Epic. Epic's like, hey, we have a sale on some shit that I don't want.
Yeah.
Who thought this? Who told you that this would be a good sale? Who are you and what are you doing in my house? That's how I feel with Epic. Like I said, the only reason I have anything on Epic is because the free games they give, and now they're running out of free games because all the shit they have is like some shit that I would some shit that I could get myself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they're bad about that shit. You know, it's like, oh, you can do this. Like, I could get that myself. What do I need you for? But you know, that's just me. I could be wrong. But
Yeah.
you have any thoughts on that?
Nah. I'm good.
All right. So I guess we can go to free topic. Sir, do you have anything that you have noticed in gaming that you would like to bring up that people haven't brought up or talked about? You're like, why aren't people talking about this? Why are you ignoring this amazing thing? You fat bastard. Why?
Um.
I don't know why I called all the
And
viewers
then
fat bastards, but sorry.
I saw this video on how reviewers and customers are seem to be fairly out of line. Um, One of the things they brought up was the idea that people believe that there is payola that happens in the industry, and they went uh, they made the argument that it's not necessarily how it works. They usually get the game copies from a PR firm that works with various different companies.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
but I brought up, but the thing. I mean, there have been hints throughout you know the last few decades that would make people lead to believe that there's some payola going on. Because I remember when the PlayStation VR came out and IGN had PlayStation VR ads plastered all over their site, and it's just kind of like, okay, I mean, you see that, and I think they ultimately gave the PSVR like a 7.5, but it's like, how, is this, the real review? Is this,
or is it
is
skewed
this,
because they said
is
if
it
you don't
skewed
give this a
because,
decent review, you'll never get early copies again?
there's also the King of Lynch situation with Jeff Gerstmann when he got fired from GameSpot because of the
Kane
review
and
that
Lynch
he gave the game.
is
King
he's
of
like,
Lynch.
this game is not that good, and they're like, oh yeah, well
Yeah.
you're not working here anymore.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, there's a few examples of like who lead people to think that there's some payola going on, but at the same time, I think there's also a particular view of how the industry should be. Uh, I think there's a massive chasm when it comes to reviewers and people who play the game
Yeah,
or people who buy the game.
because people who play video games don't look at things like a reviewer who reviews a game does. For example, right?
Yeah,
Like if I'm reviewing a video game, right? I'm looking for, okay, does it meet certain metrics for like a product? Whereas if I'm a fan of a game, I'm just playing it because I enjoy it. There are games that I'm fans of that I can say I enjoy this as a fan, but if like people say, "Hey, would you recommend it?" I'm like, "No, you wouldn't like this game."
yeah,
Because this is not a
yeah,
game that's conventionally good. Like Harvest Moon.
yeah,
Harvest Moon, I enjoy the Harvest Moon franchise. Even when they change the story of seasons, I enjoy that series. I enjoy everything about it. Harvest Moon is not for everybody.
yeah,
And I wouldn't tell someone you should get this even if you don't like it. Like I wouldn't do some shit like that to someone. Now I know people who would. They'd be like, "Oh no, you need to get this." Like, no, I really don't want to.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like, so, and I'm not saying, and that's the divide, because you have the same thing in movies where there are people who like to watch certain movies, and there are movies where I'm like, that movie is trash, and people, I liked it though. I'm like, but it's trash. There's major flaws with this shit. How are you not seeing this?
yeah,
So, I mean, I can see both sides of the curtain on that one.
yeah,
I know some people are going to get mad by that. They're going to be like, "Oh, what do you mean?" I mean, that's just it's I mean, it's the same thing with books. There are books that I've read that people are like, "This book is terrible." And I'm like, there's some books that, they're not that bad. Calm down, bro.
yeah,
People forget that shit all the time. That like, you know, and I agree there may be a certain level of quid pro quo going on there where people are like, well, I you know I gave X amount of dollars, I need to be able to do X amount of dollars with it. Probably that could be a thing,
yeah,
but I also think a certain level of it is just that. Just hear me out on this. A certain level of it isn't that people are doing shady stuff. It's that if you are making video games, you're not going to look at shit the same way as someone like if you're playing video games as a gamer, you're not going to look at shit the same way as someone who is not a gamer. You know what I mean? It's
yeah,
like because I've seen review sites give games that are actually legit good. Like other reviewers gave them good scores. They gave it to someone who doesn't play those types of games, doesn't understand the mechanics, and they scored it poorly. And it's like this isn't a case of this is a bad game. You gave it to someone who doesn't understand that type of game. You know what I mean?
yeah. Like Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze when that came out, that was given to somebody that didn't like platformers
I mean that could be a case. I mean
and
I don't
GameStop.
remember that one. I know it
Yeah,
happened with a game that came out recently that people are like, oh, this is a legit good game. And he was like, I don't play those. It's like a racing game. The guy didn't play racing games, but he's like, this game is terrible. It's like, but you don't play those types of games. Like it's not a bad game. You just don't play this shit. It's like
yeah,
that's where I gotta kind of be like, people are like, oh no, this is terrible. I'm like, is it though, or are you just is it just something that you don't play? You know what I mean? You know,
yeah,
people forget that shit. A lot of people think that because they don't like something, or that something they like, something, it's called confirmation bias. People think that because they like something that everyone likes it, or that they hate something everyone hates it. I mean, there are very few things that objectively I can say this is just fucking trash.
Yeah.
I'm not saying they don't exist, but I'm just saying there's very few that I'm like, this is just trash. It's terrible. Some bullshit. Fuck this game. There are very few games like that, in my
Yeah.
opinion. I'm not saying they don't exist. I'm just saying there's not a lot of them.
Yeah.
But to each his own. Have any thoughts? Don't care. Don't give a shit.
I'm good. I
All
said
right.
my piece.
Okay then. So that was your free topic. I guess it's time to go to unpopular opinion. Here's my unpopular opinion. Um, Nintendo, for me, Nintendo is gonna have to have some dynamite ass games and performance for their next gaming device for me to want to buy it. And this is the first time I've had a Nintendo console where I really don't want to get it day one.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I agree with that.
Like I don't personally think that the next console is going to do anything that's going to make me be like, oh man, I gotta have this.
Yeah.
Unless the performance, if the performance is good, I might do it. If the performance is shit, then I'm not interested. I know some people are going to get mad about that. They're going to be like, how dare you, sir? And I don't give a fuck how you feel about it. That's my opinion, and I'm allowed to have it because it is an opinion. Opinions are like assholes. Everyone has one.
Yeah.
Or everyone should have an asshole. I mean, if you don't have an asshole, I don't know what to tell you. You're full of shit. If you don't have an asshole, you're full of shit, literally. Um, so yeah, yeah, man. I mean, it's people, and I know some people are gonna get angry and be like, "How could you say that? You're a Nintendo fan." I am a Nintendo fan. That's why I'm not giving them a buy on subpar performance just because I'm a fan. Just because I'm a fan doesn't mean that I'm gonna be like, "Oh, well, you can make shit," and I'll just agree with it. Doesn't work that way. And
Yeah.
if you give stuff a pass because you like it, then that's called bias. And here's the thing: there's nothing wrong with being inherently biased because everyone has bias. People have bias for their parents. You like your parents because they made you, or if you're adopted, they adopted you. If you're, if they're biologically your parents, they had you. Either way, you're happy that someone thought enough about you to make you. That's a beautiful thing. But ultimately, that's a bias. You like your children because they're your children. You're biologically uh, have a biological proclivity to like people who are related to you. But you have to recognize that bias. It's the reason why people shouldn't really be hiring their relatives for shit because um, it sends a bad signal to the people who work under you that, oh well, I have to have some type of familiar relationship with the management in order for me to move up, which is why I refuse to hire my relatives for anything.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'll write you a reference, but I'm not hiring you at my business because I don't need that crisis to my morale of my business. People need to feel like if they work hard enough, they have an opportunity for advancement without having to be related to me.
Yeah.
And if you can't understand that, then you've never owned a business or worked in a place where there's a lot of nepotism, and you're like, so the only way I can move forward is by being related to somebody. Is that what you're saying, functionally speaking?
Yeah. Nepotism. That word always has a menacing sound to it. for good
Well,
reason too.
you've never seen. I've never seen nepotism work positively in a workplace.
Yeah,
I've never seen someone.
yeah,
Yeah, I hired my cousin. I hired my son, and they're not fucking up. They're running the business perfectly. I've never seen that.
yeah. This happens very often, I'm sure.
Now I'm only 38, but I've run a business for at this point it'll be 10 years. No, it was 10 years today. So I've been running a business for a decade, and I've never seen nepotism work out well.
Yeah,
Like, oh yeah, I hired my wife. It's like, oh, that's working out so well for everybody. I've never seen that. People
yeah,
are like, yeah, I hired my cousin. Okay, what qualifications does your cousin have? Well, he's just my cousin. It's like this person is clearly not qualified for any of the positions they're in right now, and you gave them that position because they're related to you, not because they're qualified. I have a friend of mine right now who works at a certain place, and this guy's wife was in a bottom position, got promoted. She skipped the middle position, got promoted to the third position up from the top because he's a manager. Because even if he wasn't on the hiring process, the people who fucking interviewed her can't really say we didn't hire her because he's a fucking manager. Like it's at the same place. It's like this is very shady. You know what I mean? This is all so goddamn shady.
yeah,
And you mention this, and people are like, "Oh, don't say that." Like, come on, man. Let's keep it. Let's be honest here, okay? Let's tell the truth, okay? So for me, I don't hire relatives. If you're related to someone, I'm not gonna hire your ass. Like, oh, you're so and so's cousin. Okay, well, what qualifications do you have aside from you being related to someone, which is not a qualification? Like, so nothing. You're just related to somebody. Okay, cool. Yeah, this is going into the trash. I mean, I'm gonna read it and give you the interview. I mean, but sometimes someone is very highly qualified. But my thing is, if they're that qualified, why the fuck are you coming here? Like, wouldn't you be going
yeah,
someplace else and trying to get a job someplace else instead of working for your relatives? If you were that qualified, but whatever.
yeah. That's a good point. Yeah.
Enough about that. Anyway, I got nothing else to say. Anything you want to pimp out before we wrap things up?
Uh, I think we're gonna do a project console next week. PC game show's happening,
All right. So
and
we'll
I'm
talk
sure there'll
about
be
that.
stuff to talk about that. Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
That'll be fun. Okay then. I'll be there. I'll be there. This is Mr. Red Fox, owner and proprietor of BS Busters. Glad to be on another cast. Glad for having my co-host Kenoshi. Um, y'all have a nice week. Play your games. I don't care what you play on, as long as you're playing something. It's good. Peace. Good night, and see ya.
Later.